morning. I'm coming to you from our Fort Lauderdale home. The second of the two properties we own in Fort Lauderdale. Now this would be the last remaining property, since we pretty much have the full go-ahead to go to closing and complete the sale on the other property. This is a smaller yard, but it seems spacious because there's not a lot of things in the way. And I don't know if you heard that, but that's a peacock. There are lots of peacocks in this neighborhood. Put the tiki hut in, I don't know, 9 months ago, 6 months ago. There's the house. It's a nice 2-2, around 1,100 square feet. But today, I'm here to put a kitchen in under this tiki hut. This piece here is going to act as the kitchen counter. The sink obviously goes on top. I'll cut a gap out here, which will allow me to get access to do my plumbing and things of that nature and stay out of the way, of the pipes and things of that nature. This will get plywood wrapped around it on all sides except for the front side here, and then after the plywood's on, we're going to tile it. So I have to today finish off the electric. So I'm going to probably put an outlet up there, a box with a GFCI, and then I'll run some electrical down to that end. I've got it plumbed for water, so I've got to figure out, roughly where my faucet and stuff's going to be. So I'll just, run a 90 over and then terminate my cold water under there somewhere, and just have it in position for faucet installation once the sink and faucet are made available, or I should say ready for install. So that's today's project, or I should say the starting of the project. I'm starting today. I suspect it should be about 3 days work. It really should only take maybe somebody that's skilled a day, maybe 2. And then if it was a day, then you let it sit for a day and then come through and grout. If it takes you 2 days, you let it sit for a day, you grout on the 3rd day. It might take me 3 days to get this thing tiled, and then I would grout on the 4th day. But I really don't know. That's just an educated guess on my behalf. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to get started. Let's take another quick look at the rest of this yard. All right, guys, we will check in with you once progress starts to get made on this bad boy. Wrapping it up for the night. So the technical parts think are kind of getting close to finished here. Meaning I've got the plywood on the sides, right? And then I got the plywood on the top. I had to put in the nailer boards so that these pieces would have something to stick to, right? So the nailer boards come back to play once again, right? I taught you guys that lesson, or I should say I talked about that lesson in an earlier episode. And then on the piece on top, I cut out for the nuts, right? So when I go to tile this, this piece of plywood is a nice flat surface. The mortar is just going to go right over these bolts and everything, you know, and that'll be a nice flat surface for the tiles to go onto. And then we got the electrical box mounted. I've got power coming in. Power is going to come out this way. It goes under there, and then it's going to loop around, and I'll have an outlet down there. I'll have a GFCI here and a switch, and the switch is going to go up this way, that way, and we're going to put a ceiling fan in. So I'll have a switch there for the ceiling fan. All right, so I'll give you another look at that a little slower. So I'll just run a pipe up the middle there, up the pole, do my bend, come up, do my last bend right there. Actually, it's 2 bends, and then I'm gonna go straight to the middle. And then in the sun, I've already drilled a hole through the nose. I did that a long time ago, knowing that I was probably gonna drop a ceiling fan through. And so the ceiling fan will be a backdrop. The sun will be a backdrop to the ceiling fan. So the blades and stuff will be on this side. The motor and the blades will be here, and the sun will be above that. Let's see what remains. I have to put the back side on, right? So I got one more sheet of plywood sitting over there. Cut that to size. It'll fit on the inside of this, right? It'll go down. I'll put my nailer boards in, right? Nailer boards there, and then nailer boards on the underside, right? Coming down. So I've got a way to attach that plywood into place. I'm putting it in the nailer boards because to try and hit that little piece of plywood would be difficult. And when you put in a nailer board, I've effectively added, I've made it like a 2-inch span, or 1.5 inches that I can hit. So much more effective. And then here's my water, right? So I got my cold coming up. I do a 3/4 reducing couple to a 1/2 inch, and this will come out. It'll get terminated somewhere in here, and then I put my shark bite valve on, and that will have the 3/8 inch compression coupling for the faucet, right? For the cold side. So that's in place. And so how this is going to work is I'm going to, these are temporary, right? So this is just going to come out. This just comes out. And then I'm going to slide the whole unit out. So I'm going to put the plywood up. Once that piece of plywood's in place, I start tiling, and I'm going to tile the whole thing. And then on this side, now that I know where my holes are at, right, I'm going to put the tile in place. So I'll put the tiles on this side. I'll let it dry, and then I'm going to get a drill bit that's for tile that's the same size as this and that, which is actually, these are the same size holes. This one and this one are the same size holes. I'll get a tile bit that's that size, and then I'll just drill from the inside out real carefully. And then when the tile's all done, I'm just going to slide this piece back, and the pipe will come through the hole just as you see there, and it will come through the hole just as you see there. So the tile will be a single piece with just that hole in it, because they're 6 inches tall by 36 inches wide, right? So it'll just be a hole in the tile, which would be really slick. I've never done tile work before, so I think this is it's kind of I'm going to call it an intermediate skill. But I certainly I wouldn't call it a beginner's tile skill, but just because I've never done tile doesn't mean I don't have experience doing other type of construction work, and I can just leverage that knowledge. So I think tomorrow that piece of plywood goes into place. I bust out the tile, stir up some mortar, and start putting it down. So that's it. All right, we'll check in when I start. We'll check in tomorrow when I start the tile, and we'll see how things go. Please, if you like what you're seeing and you want to learn more, do a share and a like, or share and a like. All that good sharing is caring stuff. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We do our best to answer all of them. That's it. I'm done for the night. It's time to go get a beer, hang out with some friends, and maybe even grab a pizza pie. Ciao.